Greetings to you, my friends. I am Orion. I've been invited to come and speak to you all, and that you have questions for me. There are many from different planets, quadrants in the Milky Way galaxy, even other galaxies. Individuals who are coming to assist humanity. The quality of the communication that may come through a medium is highly variable, and it is influenced by the ideas and personalities of those mediums. And so the details of various communications can be very scrambled, distorted, and take a path of interpretation that is completely erroneous. And so when you listen to communications from what you call aliens, you must use your soul discernment in order to recognize and discern whether there is truth in what is being communicated, with the understanding that every communication through a medium is distorted in some way, and there are inaccuracies and projections of thought that inhabit these communications that are not from the original communicator. And so it is difficult to answer these questions other than to say that when these beings communicate through various channels and means, it is important to understand that through the human perspective and ideology, that the language and the aspects of communication in terms of details is often distorted and at times highly distorted. Unfortunately, many would want me to say that what is being communicated is true. But all I can say to you is what is being communicated is partially true. And depending upon the medium, it can be completely false. It is for the listener to discern what is true and what is not, what is viable and valuable and what is not. Again, we are on the subject of mediumship. And indeed, there are many earnest mediums in the world who wish to help humanity to rise up above the human condition and to be in alignment with spiritual truth. This group of souls, known as Abraham Hicks, comes from the fourth sphere. They are what you call natural love spirits who desire to teach humanity. And they are well-intentioned. Their language is complex, and their points of reference are very much of the mind. And for those who are desirous of mental constructs and ideologies, then what is channeled as Abraham Hicks is very satisfying indeed. The question is it of the highest truth? Does it bring the soul into alignment with the great soul that is God? In the case of these channelings, it is more about self-empowerment and mental acuity than it is about soul. So I would suggest those who are interested in soul development and matters of the soul would not study these messages so in depth, because they do not lead you to that place. They lead one to that place that is the natural of heaven. And if that is where the individual wishes to go, then the instructions given by these fourth Spherian spirits will be helpful indeed. Atlantis was a reality many eons ago, and like you in the present state, they overstepped the laws of the universe, and as a consequence, their civilization, their habitations degraded to the point where this civilization no longer existed. The stories of massive destruction and the capitulation of the continent, etc., are a little overstated. It did not happen in an instant, and the capitulation of your civilizations will not happen in an instant. But there is a similar story here, a story of humanity seeking to be self-empowered, independent, and not cognizant of spiritual laws and the laws of God's creation, so that what is created is of a human construct and has potentially the capacity of self-destruction, because laws are not heeded, because understanding of truth is not heeded. Rather, the human mind, the imaginings and creativity of that mind created something that bedazzled the Atlanteans and brought into their consciousness an idea that they were superior and independent from the laws of their creation. Something similar is happening now in your civilization. The vast majority of humanity do not heed the laws of their creation and are headed upon a similar course of self-destruction. Because of the billions of souls that inhabit this planet, there is a great effort afoot to help steer humanity away from this precipice. For if self-destruction is accomplished through the myriad of ways where it may be accomplished, then the planet as a whole would suffer such destruction and degradation that it too will be destroyed. And this cannot be, for this planet is an integral part of God's creation and needs to survive and become whole and flourish within the harmony of this creation. Divine love was not known until the Master brought the awareness of it. Of course, it was known by what you call the first parents, but they rejected it. Atlantis had no knowledge of it. Atlantis, in terms of its abilities and technologies, destroyed itself because these technologies created such a disruption of the natural earth currents and forces that, yes, the degradation and destruction of that civilization happened. It was not punishment from God. It was the result of a lack of wisdom and ability to master these laws in such a way that brought harmony rather than disharmony. And indeed, the disharmony began rather subtly, as it is at this moment on your planet, but intensified to the point where the civilization could no longer function. And so it dispersed to different continents, and there are remnants of their knowledge that exists now even today in the pyramids and the various civilizations of ancient times. So Atlantis did not disappear altogether. Rather, the influence and knowledge of that civilization has shown up in other civilizations as Atlantis dispersed and became absorbed into other civilizations and cultures. The pyramids were built by those civilizations that claimed to have built them, but they were assisted by Atlanteans and previous civilizations. This knowledge has been passed down generation to generation. In fact, this knowledge could have been passed down to your present day civilizations. But the predominance of the culture of Europe ensured that only their understanding and their perceptions of the world predominated, and they subjugated all other cultures in the process. So this knowledge was lost, and it may be regained in some time in the future, but at present it is not understood how the pyramids were built, because the way and means of building them have been lost to the consciousness of man. We have always been involved in earthly life, but we are limited in that involvement. Now our involvement is becoming more crucial, and therefore we step up more completely in assisting humanity. But no, we did not save Atlantis from its fate. No, we did not build monuments and things that are purportedly discovered on the Earth, on the Moon, on other planets, etc. These things are the concoctions of men who wish to be recognized and seen as great prophets, bringing unknown information to humanity. And so, through the means of technology and creativity, these things are brought forward as truth. Again, I warn those who are seekers of truth to discern between what is true and what is not. So there are many things, many theories, conspiracies, understandings that are added to the stream of information, which is great in your world, but is of error and is not designed to help humanity grow. Rather, it is designed to engorge the egos of some and the pockets of some. No, aliens did not create the Nazca Lines. Those individuals who are able to create them had the ability to project their consciousness outside their body, therefore hovering above the landscape and guiding the creators in ways that created these massive images on the landscape. Crop circles are an interesting phenomena. Some of them are human-made, but some of them are indeed made by crafts and technologies of alien origin. Indeed, they are symbols and informational images that are designed to help humanity in the future. And it is a way of gently introducing humanity to the presence of others who are not from this planet. There are things that are unknown by humanity, and there are things that should not be known by humanity at this stage of their development. Indeed, there are physical structures and preparations being made to help humanity when the time of intervention comes. It is unfortunate that some obsess over these things, which really are not of humanity's concern at this time. So I would not go into detail about this information, for it will detract from what is really necessary at this time. It is necessary for each human being to think about their own behavior, their own condition, their own ability or inability to love, to look after one another, to be true humans in the context and way that we think of humanity, which is an individual of light, of harmony, of peace, of knowledge, of wisdom, of love. And so these other things that are of a material concern are not harming humanity and are not relevant to humanity's struggle at this time. Some do indeed. Some look very, very similar to humanity and are testing the ground of being a part of and integrating with humanity. They mean no harm. They are there as emissaries from their planet. And the goal is to help bring harmony, to help bring peace to your world. Many. Indeed, I refer back to my ancestors. We have been a civilization for many eons, millions of years, as you would say in your Earth time. Indeed, our capacity to travel to other planets was established many, many years ago. And in our travels, we discovered a great variety of planets, and their level of advancement of progress varied quite greatly. I am loath to say, but your planet on the gradient of progression is very low indeed. But there are others who were higher up upon this gradient, and our intention and the intention of others who are inhabitants of other planets are to give a helping hand to help these planets grow and to be in greater harmony with their existence, the existence of their planet, to learn ways and means of doing so, learn ways of loving one another. We have come there in the flesh and taught spirituality in its purity. We come to counsel and guide. And indeed, in time, these planets have joined a loose federation of planets which have the intention of supporting and upholding each other. So yes, we have helped many, too many to list, and there will be others that will be assisted in the future. This is our purpose, our desire, our focus is to help uplift humanity wherever it may be, whatever planet that they may exist in. And it is a very fulfilling purpose and effort. And we are happy to be those instruments of God to help bring the entire universe to harmony and peace. Well, there is one very obvious reason, and that is that this world is in deep jeopardy as a result of the crush of humanity and its influence upon this world. So we come in an errand of mercy. We come to help reverse the trend towards destruction and disharmony. And so we have been asked by Jesus to come and assist. And so we have, and so we will. And we are happy to do so. Yes, there are many others. We find it easier to communicate with the likes of yourself, for their understanding of universal laws is greater than many. So the ease of communication is greatly appreciated, and we come often to communicate, as you are well aware. There are others whose perception and biases and condition make it more difficult to have clear communication, but we are making those attempts with as many as possible. And indeed, there are many hundreds whom we are attempting to communicate with. It's different because they inhabit the spirit body, not the fleshy body. You will each have that experience in time. Our closeness between those in spirit and those in the flesh is very, very close indeed. So those in spirit come and communicate with us, manifest and communicate with us quite often. In our councils and governments, although government is not an accurate word to describe how we conduct our affairs on my planet, there are individual spirits who come and are part of the governing body. And so these forms of communication are commonplace. Those who have lost their ancestors are well aware of their ancestors, and there are communications often between those in the flesh and those in spirit. You see, we do not have the barriers that you have. Our consciousness is all of soul, as is the consciousness of those who are in spirit. So in the faculties of the soul is the ability to communicate readily with those in spirit. And so we have the luxury and the benefit of this communication often. God has revealed to me and many others the potential of a way forward so that humanity may indeed accomplish peace on earth and harmony. But remember that humanity is free will, and the course of the collective desires and expressions of humanity make for a very unpredictable path. So therefore, there is not one scenario, one plan that is to be adhered to and is rigid. Rather, it is like water finding its course, taking that path of least resistance, but finding its way to the ocean nonetheless. So we are adaptable, and those who are part of this great effort for humanity to be saved, reconciled with truth, must bend and follow the ways that humanity directs. Yes, there's great darkness in your world, but that darkness will dissipate. Whether you designate this dissipation and this eventual upliftment to the equivalent of what you call the second sphere is rather limited thinking. The plan is for your world to become like our world. And in our world, there are no designations, there are no levels. There is merely the existence of our being in harmony, perfect harmony with God. And so this is the goal, and this is the plan. How it is accomplished is determined by the will of man and their response to the interventions and blessings and efforts that are made from those of us who are full of wisdom, empowered with many gifts, and love. So the actual outcomes are generally predictable, but cannot be predicted in detail. So I cannot answer fully that question, for I do not know the answer, nor does anyone, either on this planet of yours, in all of the universe, and in all the universe of the celestial kingdom, bright spirits. No one can truly know the course, for it varies with every breath. The universe is progressing, and because the universe progresses, so does God. It is a symbiotic relationship between God and the universe and God. And so, yes, God does progress. For everything changes, everything moves forward, and yet there is no time, so everything exists at one time, simultaneously. So it is very difficult to answer that question with that concept in mind. But indeed, in some dimension, in some way, in some place, there is the unlimited progression that is instantaneous, if this makes sense in your mind, my friends. I think that global change is real. It involves warming and cooling and chaotic reactions to the conditions that humanity has added to this planet. So yes, generally there is warming of the planet. Your scientists can readily prove this to be so. And indeed, there are reactions to this. Your weather is unpredictable, is becoming more intense and more destructive. So there are certainly changes. If you do not believe this, then I hope you are not one of the victims of these changes, one of the ones who gets swept away by tornadoes and hurricanes, one of the ones that are not swallowed up by earthquakes and other conditions that continue to disrupt the planet. There is great disruption happening, and that will invariably intensify, since there is no real effort to change and to rectify these conditions. There are attempts being made. I do not wish to denigrate those who are making those efforts. But it is too little too late, as you would say. And indeed, the earth must take its course, and will. And whether you call it global warming, global change, whatever label you put on it, it is very real indeed. In time, if technologies were corrected, yes. But the amount of time this would take is a great many years, and you do not have a great many years in order to correct these things. You remember when the COVID disease was a part of your world and many things stood still. The atmosphere cleared. There was greater harmony with the weather. Although the overreaching effects of previous technological influences and human influence did have its effects, but there was a slight improvement because of it. So this is very much proof that if these things were to stop, then indeed the healing could take place and would take place. But are you willing to sacrifice your comforts? Are you willing to allow your structures and economies to cease? I would say not. You are too addicted to your pleasures and your material comforts. So indeed, part of God's plan is to make this correction for you. And it will indeed come in various ways and means. And indeed, the correction must come. And when it comes, then the interventions, the reshaping, the education, the loving interventions of spirits and humans of all stripe, including those that are your star friends, will come to intervene and help you rebuild from the tumult and the rubble of this great change. The way in which we ask, the prayer is not the same as the prayer you call prayer. It is a living, breathing desire within each one of us. And so as we continue to live and breathe, the asking that comes from our soul, the desires that come from our soul, are continuously directed towards the Creator. And the response, receiving this gift, is continuously given. And there will come a time when you, too, will be in that state of grace, as you might call it. And indeed, I believe if you ask your beloved brother Jesus to explain how he prays, he will suggest that this is how his reality within the celestial kingdom is. When he comes to visit you in your sphere and condition, of course, the form of prayer reflects the condition in which you inhabit. There will be many things manifest, and as I say, the needs will be determined by the outcomes of change. So yes, I would anticipate that we would be able to provide sustenance for those who are in need and technologies for those who are in need. But they will be given, parsed out with wisdom, and not in such a way that they will be taken advantage of in a negative way, but in a way that will help sustain humanity. There is much change coming to your world, and you are not prepared. Humanity is not prepared. Humanity continues to live in ignorance and continues to live like the ostrich who puts his head under the sand, believing that if he does not see the danger ahead, he is safe. Indeed, you are not safe, for the danger is all around you. The danger is intensifying. The danger is the result of your ignorance. So you must awaken. Beautiful souls of earth, you have the capacity and the ability to awaken. You have been told, you have been taught, you have been demonstrated how to awaken, and yet you still persist in your slumbers, in your ignorance, in the darkness of your resistance. My beloved friends, we will continue to make our efforts known. We will continue to help and support you all. Our love for you is great. You are our brothers and sisters, and there is much intervention coming. But you are like the child who sits and waits for the parent to lift the spoon to your mouth and feed you without making much effort on your own behalf to take action, to be prepared, to listen to the wisdom that is being proffered to you, the truth that is being given, to continue with earnestness to pray for this gift of love that will heal all. My beautiful friends, the time is now for action. The time is now if you wish to save yourself and your loved ones, to change your ways and to be steadfast in ways that you know will bring change and bring strength within you, will bring insights, will transform your soul into what God intends it to be. And so the choice is yours, my friend, as always. The choice is yours. I do not wish to criticize or negate your efforts. I merely wish to encourage steadfastness, that you are upright in the truth, that you desire to be in harmony with all that is of God's creation. For this is the key to true development and progress with your world and with all within it. My beautiful, beautiful friends, there are wonders awaiting you. There are revelations just so very close you could almost touch them. There is love in such abundance you could never drain that well dry. Take advantage of the resources offered to you. Be open, be resourceful, be of good faith and trust in the ways and means that are given to you. And be the highest, most beautiful individual that you can be. And in that, be the example for the world, an example so needed, a light required, a being that is fulfilling its purpose, its destiny. May you all be blessed. Those who listen to the words that I speak and share, may you listen closely. May you be inspired. May you be directed. And may you know that every time you choose to change for the better, you have much support and love given to you to uphold you in your decision. Blessings to all of you. Orion loves you, all of humanity, and I am with you till there is the fulfillment of this great change that must happen. I shall be with you. Maybe I shall be with you for far longer, but indeed, my commitment is great, and I shall continue in the steadfastness of that commitment. Blessings to you all, my friends, and thank you.